Hi friends, I am Dr. Kamlesh Golab, HOD of Physiology Department in Anantara Konchi Homeopathy Medical College, Alefata. Today we will discuss next important topic from central nervous system, that is cerebrum. So we'll start of our discussion with cerebral cortex. So cerebrum consists of outer gray matter and inner white matter. This gray matter is outer. The thickness of this gray matter is 2 to 4 millimeter and called as cerebral cortex. If we take transverse section of this cerebral cortex of gray matter, you can see six different layers. So these are flexiform layer, external granular layer, outer pyramidal layer, internal granular layer, internal pyramidal layer, and last one fusiform layer. So this transverse section looks like this. So we will try to study one by one layer in detail. The outermost layer of gray matter, that is cerebral cortex, is molecular layer, or it is also called as plexiform layer. This outer layer is molecular layer or plexiform layer, and it consists of a fusiform cells called neuroglial cells. It consists of small fusiform cells which is called as neuroglial cells. You can see name is given here, neuroglial cells. So this is small cells, fusiform cells, which is called as neuroglial cells. Second layer, which is present below the plexiform or molecular layer, is external granular layer. This external granular layer is consist of closely packed small granular cells. You can see in this diagram closely packed small granular cells, uh, which has got dendrites. Okay, dendrites passes into molecular layer and exons. Dendrites passes into molecular layer, upper layer, and the exons descend downwards into a deeper layer. That is a external granular layer. Next layer, that is a third layer of cerebral cortex, that is external pyramidal layer. So if you study this external or outer pyramidal layer, you can see, say it consists of small pyramidal cells. That's why name is given pyramidal layer. Pyramidal cells are triangular cells. So this consists of small pyramidal cells. There are two types of pyramidal cells in this layer: outer pyramidal cells and inner pyramidal cells. Outer present at outer side and inner layer present at inner side. So outer pyramidal cells are medium sized pyramidal cells, and inner pyramidal cells has got larger types of pyramidal cells. The still next layer, internal granular layer, is the next layer. That is fourth layer. This internal granular layer is consist of again granular cells. That's why name is given granular layer. Okay, but uh, this layer also contains horizontal types of fibers. That is internal granular layer. And this granular cells are arranged more packedly, more near to each other as compared with external granular layer. The next layer is internal pyramidal layer. That is a fifth layer of cerebral cortex. This internal pyramidal layer is consist of large pyramidal cells as compared with external pyramidal layer. Okay, this layer is consist of large pyramidal cells, and it developed. This is also well developed in motor cortex, which is called as precentral cortex. After that, you can see last sixth layer, which is called as multiform layer, or also called as fusiform layer. It is connected with white matter of cerebral hemisphere. As you can say, this multiform layer is connected with white matter. This is white matter, which is present below gray matter. So this layer is connected with white matter of cerebral hemisphere, and it is composed of closely packed small spindle shaped cells. So you study in detail, you should remember all names of all these six layer, and you should able to explain contents of all these six layer. So with this transverse section of cerebral cortex, we will continue our discussion with the next point. During embryonic development of life, there is very rapid increase in the size of gray matter as compared with white matter. But this growth, but space is very limited. In inside skull, space is very limited. So this gray matter appears in the folded manner. This is a basic reason for formation of small grooves in the gray matter, and these grooves are called as sulcus or sulci. Cerebrum is the largest part of brain, and it is formed by two hemispheres, right hemispheres and left hemispheres. These are separated by deep groove. Deep grooves are called as fissures, and shallow groove or small grooves are called as sulci. Transverse fissure is present in between cerebrum and cerebellum, and longitudinal fissure, this is longitudinal fissure which is present in between right and left cerebral hemisphere. So you can see here, this is in this diagram, this is longitudinal fissure which is present in between right and left cerebral hemisphere. This is longitudinal fissure. Transverse fissure is a fissure which is present in between cerebrum and cerebellum. The next point, two cerebral hemispheres are connected with each other by a transverse band which is called as corpus callosum. But corpus callosum is a part of white matter and not a gray matter. We studied corpus striatum. Corpus striatum is a part of basal ganglia, and corpus callosum is a part of white matter, which connects right cerebral hemisphere with left cerebral hemisphere. Then cerebral cortex divides into lobes. So this is frontal lobe which is present on frontal side of cerebrum, and parietal lobe which is present in the vertex upper part of cerebrum, and occipital lobe present at back side of cerebrum, and one more is temporal lobe. So basic there are four lobes: frontal, parietal, occipital, temporal. These lobes are separated by means of different sulcus. You can see in this diagram, this is a sulcus which is called as central sulcus. This divides cerebrum into the frontal and parietal lobe. Like that, different sulcus divides lobes into divides cerebrum into different lobes. In this diagram, you can see this is central sulcus which divides cerebrum into the frontal lobe and parietal lobe. There is one more sulcus which divides parietal lobe into occipital lobe. Now, what is this? We will discuss in this diagram. This has got four basic lobes. Cerebral cortex is consist of four basic lobes: parietal lobe, frontal lobe, temporal lobe, and occipital lobe. These lobes has got different functions as given in these boxes. Everything we are going to study in detail in the topic of functional areas of cerebral cortex. But at present, we will try to understand the structure of cerebrum. So you can see in this diagram, that is frontal lobe. It is divided by central sulcus. Central sulcus divides cerebrum into the frontal lobe and parietal lobe. Okay, so this is central sulcus. Sulcus is nothing but a shallow groove. Deep grooves are called as fissure. One more sulcus, parieto-occipital sulcus. This divides cerebrum into parietal lobe and occipital lobe. One more sulcus which is called as lateral sulcus. This divides cerebrum into frontal lobe, temporal lobe, and parietal lobe and temporal lobe. So this is a basic function of sulcus which divides cerebrum into different lobes. As we already discussed, there is in the embryonic development of life, there is a very fast development of gray matter as compared with white matter. That is a reason gray matter appears in folded manner. This is a reason of formation of sulcus. Just now we discussed lateral sulcus and all sulcuses we discussed. This sulcus also forms the elevated portion on the cerebrum. This elevated portion on the cerebrum are called as gyri. You can see in this diagram, Central sulcus, this is central sulcus, which divides cerebrum into frontal lobe and parietal lobe. You can see it has formed gyrus, pre-central gyrus, that is elevation on the cerebrum, and post-central gyrus. So pre-central gyrus is an important gyrus where the primary motor area is situated, from where motor tracts arises. While post-central gyrus is a gyrus where primary sensory area is situated, where in this area all sensory tracts gets terminated, they gets end. If you see frontal lobe, this also get divided into the three or four gyruses by means of sulcus. So first we will study one sulcus which is called as superior frontal sulcus. This superior frontal sulcus divides frontal lobe into superior frontal gyrus and inferior frontal gyrus. There is one more sulcus on the frontal lobe that is called as inferior frontal sulcus. This divides frontal lobe into middle frontal gyrus and inferior frontal gyrus. In the same way, if you study parietal lobe, this parietal lobe has got also one more sulcus which is called as interparietal sulcus. This interparietal sulcus, this divides parietal lobe into superior parietal lobe and inferior parietal lobe. In the same way, if you studied occipital lobe, again it has got lunate sulcus and lateral occipital sulcus. This is lateral occipital sulcus which divides occipital lobe into superior occipital gyrus and inferior occipital gyrus. In the same way, if you study temporal lobe, this temporal lobe has also got two sulcuses, prominent sulcus that is called as superior temporal sulcus and inferior temporal sulcus, which divides temporal lobe into superior temporal gyrus, middle temporal gyrus and inferior temporal gyrus. So that is a significance of the grooves and elevations of a cerebral cortex. So this is all about outer layer of cerebral cortex, that is called as gyri. Inner layer, below gyri, below gray matter, white matter is present. Now we will study white matter in detail. This is a brainstem. It looks like this. All we studied. This is a temporal lobe. Okay. This is a temporal lobe. This is a frontal lobe. This is parietal lobe. This is a central sulcus. This is the actual picture of brain. This is a central sulcus. This divides brain into anterofrontal lobe and parietal lobe. And this is the occipital lobe. Okay. And this is a temporal lobe. And all these are gyri. Elevations are called as gyri. And these depressions are called as sulci, which are present on cerebral cortex. Now we will study white matter. This white matter is present below gray matter, and this white matter is consist of three types of fibers. This white matter is consist of three types of fibers. One is association fibers, second one is commissural fibers, and third one is projection fibers. Now we will try to study all these three types of fibers. So association fibers. First are association fibers. This is nice diagram. The association fibers here. These are association fibers. These connect and transmit nerve impulses between gyri of same hemisphere. So these are connected to the gyri of same hemisphere. Right-sided gyri is connected with right-sided gyri of that same hemisphere. That is called as association fibers. So it transmits information from one gyri to another gyri of same cerebral hemisphere. Second type is commissural fibers. These commissural fibers, corpus callosum is a best example of commissural fibers. Another example is anterior commissural fibers. So what they are doing? They connect and they transmit impulses from gyri of one cerebral hemisphere to the gyri of another cerebral hemisphere. That is the main important function of corpus callosum and anterior commissural fiber. Now if you study third type of fibers which are present in the white matter, that are called as commissural or projection fibers. By name itself, it indicates that they are projected upwards. So they consist of all sensory and motor tracts which are coming from brainstem. So they are transmit these sensory motor tracts to the primary sensory area and primary motor area of cerebral cortex. So if you take real cross section of white matter, you can see structure like this. So these are different fibers which are present, three types of fibers. Even corpus callosum you can see in this transverse section, cut section very nicely. This is corpus callosum, which gyri of one cerebral hemisphere to the gyri of another cerebral hemisphere. This is corpus callosum and other parts of white matter. That's all. So today we will stop with this discussion. Tomorrow we will continue with functional areas of cerebral cortex, in which we are going to study in detail which part of the cerebral cortex is concerned with which function. Thank you.